Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships Live. I'm your host, Giovanna Burgess-White, with my co-host.
Hello, I'm Yvette Valdenegro.
And if you're watching us live on Wednesday, welcome. We are here every single Wednesday for you, talking about a relationship that you want to hear about in your life. And if you're listening to us on Fridays or on the replays, welcome. We have a podcast every single Friday. And no matter how you listen or how you watch, make sure that you put questions, comments, whatever you would like. We normally reply within 48 hours. And like always, we are here for you and we're creating content for you. So make sure that you send us anything that you want to hear about. I'm excited because not only is it Women's History Month, today when we're recording, it is International Women's Day. And, first of all, give yourself your own hug. Let's give each other our own hug. Thank you for you. We're amazing women. And the universe always aligns the most amazing guests. So today you get to see another duo. I think everyone's like, what? Another duo who are coaches, female coaches. I know Yvette has had the pleasure of meeting them in person. We were on their podcast. And so today we really get to talk about them, what they're doing in the world of coaching. And just know that we've been talking about it forever. There's a power in community and a power in numbers, and you don't have to do everything alone. So we're super excited to have them on and really just tell us their story and talk about anxiety because it's a thing. So did I miss anything before I bring our guest on?
No, you did a great job.
Oh, wonderful. So without further ado, I am going to bring Carrie and Andrea on. Welcome, ladies, to our show.
Yay!
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Oh my God. So when I heard the two of you speak at the Heights Women's Luncheon, and I sat there, this is probably me sitting in my chair. Oh my God. Looking around going, is anybody listening to this? Because this is yes, and yes. Loved everything that you said because it so resonated with, what Gio and I do. And I love that the space of coaching, the world of coaching means so many different things, but obviously it really resonated what you ladies are doing. And then I love that intentionally and really that you give yourselves the name anxiety coaches. Everybody knows what anxiety is. Everyone has experienced a different level of anxiety, whether they realize it or not. So it's such a great thing. It's great that you're bringing this to all the communities around you. And so my first question is really let's just introduce you very quickly, both of you, who you are, give a very quick blurb as to the space that you're in and what you do, and then really just answering the question, what is an anxiety coach? Let's just start there.
Yes. And so thank you for having us. I'm Andrea Alexander, your anxiety expert. And my background, I found something different after 25 plus years of using regular types of therapy to understand what I believed was wrong with me. And then I knew what was something that happened to me. And once I learned that, I was having 15 to 20 panic attacks a day and didn't know how to move through any of that. So what I've learned is that what I've done is that I took trauma as a child and have moved it into my own victory, and learning how to listen to my words and how to listen to my body and what my body is asking me for. And it's completely changed my life.
Love it. Carrie?
Yes, I'm Carrie Muschaw, and I am your anxiety coach. And for me, I always like to tell everybody it's the explanation of if you would imagine being at the bottom of the ocean and you look up and you can see the top, and you're swimming as fast as you can to get to the top, and then you feel your chest contract and you can't breathe, and then you swim harder and harder and harder and harder, only to get to the top, to take a breath and realize that tonight you go to sleep and tomorrow you wake up on the bottom of the ocean again. That was my life for 32 years before I discovered pure speech and that our words create our patterns, and that will that was able to unravel for me exactly why I was on the bottom of the ocean every single day, struggling to get by, so that I could then transform it and be able to live life easy and waking up ready, energized, and excited about what was going to happen during the day instead of dreading being on the bottom of the ocean.
And just a brief definition of anxiety. And so anxiety is is something that we begin to take on when we have experienced some level of trauma, whether it's our parents fought, there was a divorce, there may be sexual trauma, there may be emotional trauma, there may have been a car accident. It's where in our bodies we had something that felt so big that our head couldn't handle it, and so it goes into our body. And so all anxiety is a form of separation anxiety. It's where we have left our bodies because of something that was so scary. And one of the things I'm aware of is our subconscious mind doesn't play in size. Sandcastle, Empire State Building. It doesn't know the difference. It's the same. If you had a roach jump on you in the middle of the night and scared the patootie out of you, or if someone came into your home and put a gun to your head, the fear in your body feels exactly the same. It's that rush of adrenaline, that rush. And so fear is fear no matter what. And so that's what anxiety is asking us to look at the root of what we created the feeling, so that we can be with that and move it on. And most of us are afraid of what we don't know and don't understand. And so what happens in anxiety is that we're trying to figure things out and we can't, because our body just is asking us to feel.
I mean, the definition of anxiety is to worry and have unease about something we don't know.
Yeah. So I love this because, let's just be real. We went through COVID and there was so much change, and there's still change. Change is going to keep happening in our world, but it just seems like it's more personal now, or like it's affecting more people, like the layoffs that are going on, inflation. It's just like there's so much, and I'm right now when you guys are talking, I could just hear or see someone out there listening to this. Andrea, when you just shared, I'm like, someone's going, oh my God, that is like the description, like they could feel. She understands what I feel inside and what I'm experiencing on a day in and day out basis, because they themselves, they can see in their world, things are changing. There isn't for sure. There aren't like maybe they're fearful they're going to get laid off, or maybe they did, or maybe they're not meeting their bills, or maybe their relationship's falling apart, or they're going through a crisis or health issue, whatever it is, it's happening. So the fact that you created this space to really speak to someone in this moment, but I feel like this is just like, whoo, let's just go there, but let's go there. Someone's feeling all that. What is it in right now in the moment that, even when you brought up all those feelings that someone may be having, what is it that you could share with them? Maybe some steps, a tip, something that's going to start to help them open up, maybe release that and create something new.
The first thing that someone can do when they begin to experience anxiety and or panic is to take a breath. And breath, just a conscious breath. I breathe in and I breathe out. And breath is the tree that will stop a speeding bullet when we are in anxiety and stress. Our brain cannot think about what's happening and breathe consciously at the same time. So that's one of the best things that you can do. And once we have a few breaths, what we do is we give ourselves space then to be aware of where we actually are. And so when we're aware that we're actually safe, we're saying, oh my God, I'm so scared. There's something's coming through the door. We're sitting on the couch. It's Sunday morning. We got coffee and jazz. And so we make up this stuff. So a breath and then space to realize that where we really are, to claim that I am okay. And this is just a memory and I choose to let it go.
I think the biggest key in what Andrea just said, one of the ones that I choose to just, is for people to just say, it's only a memory. It's only a memory. It's only a memory. Because that's all that it is, and it's all the attention we require giving it to us. Sometimes when you sit down with a coach, we can go into what the memory is so that you can, but really the first diffuse is to take the power from the memory. And you do that by just saying, you remove the power by saying, this is only a memory. Because in the memory you survived, and that's why you're here. So it's only a memory.
There's so much belief that whatever it is that we're experiencing or that what we experience, it's that I almost died. I almost died. We almost had a wreck. We almost this. We almost that. We almost.
And this could have happened, and that could have happened, and this could have happened.
And the truth is, it didn't. And we all lived. But our body is remembering the almost. And it's just a memory.
Oh, go ahead.
My mother fell down the stairs last summer. And everybody was like, oh my God, she could have died. She almost died. What? And I said, and she lived. And it just, the entire family began to focus completely differently. It's where we've held on to what didn't instead of what did.
I was just going to say, Gio and I we just got done reading a book very similar to everything that you're just saying. And we actually are considering using it as part of the resources that we would offer someone to read, because it's a story of a woman's life that she wants to take her life. And then it's almost like it's not Miracle on 34th Street, but when Beautiful Life, when you get to kind of like, what would my life be if things had changed, right? It's kind of, or if I didn't exist, or if I would have made different decisions, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and the fear of, but I didn't, and there's multiple millions of outcomes that can happen in our lives based on the choices that we have. But we get so dang stuck on thinking, but this is the worst life. Poor me. Things should be better. Things could be better, whatever. Anyway, this lady goes through this transformation of actually being able to step into some of these lives. And that, I don't want to give the book totally away, but she just totally goes through this transformation of, she begins to realize there really wasn't, there's nothing wrong with what she has. It's her outlook and what she already has in front of her is the main thing. So it's taking those negatives and the what ifs and going, what if? We don't know. But don't harbor on the what if, harbor on the what could. Like, oh my God, this could be.
What we put our attention on is what we become and what we receive. Yep. And so we can make you can choose to think about all the boogity of the past, or you can imagine and play in the boogity lovely that you choose to create in the future. It's a choice. Mm-hmm. And I'm aware that every single thing I ever did brought me to where I am. Thank God for all of the boogity, because it's what put me on mission and purpose. And I'm aware that there is no growth unless we have some kind of challenge. It's what we do with that challenge that supersedes who we are, that creates the trajectory and how we move forward.
Mm-hmm. And I remember, this just reminds me, I've had a client in the past that was worried all about everybody, her whole family. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if that? And I walked her all the way through. What if? I'm like, okay, now that happened. Now what? Well, then what would that mean? Oh, well, it would mean that. Okay. And now what would that mean? Well, now there's this. I'm like, and then now was this. And now, and we walked all the way through all her what ifs, all the way down. And at the end of it, what happened was death. And what I got from that is I said, what do you know about death? I said, are you scared to death? And she had witnessed her grandmother die in pain and shrivel up and fight it the whole time. And as a young child, she'd been next to her. So she learned to be scared of death. So all these little things could get you to death eventually. But she said, I had no idea I actually believed that. I'm like, I understand, because she stayed in all the anxiety of these what ifs. And when we walked them all the way down to get what it was, then we had an understanding. Oh, okay. And now, can you do that completely differently? Because can you see death differently? Can you see that it's an ascension and a connection to your divine source? And she was like, yes, there you go. And that was it. So the what ifs can create that storyline, but there's a memory underneath of it. That's why I said, if we just say it's only a memory, because the memory has no power. It may have a great revelation and awareness to it so that you can shift it, but you're keeping it in power. And that keeping that bit in power had her running around like with a chicken with her head cut off.
It's exhausting.
I know that our viewers and our listeners are going to ask this because, again, we're coaches. Some people are our clients. Some people are just our viewers and listeners. Take us down the road of like what anxiety coaching is, because I love super niche coaching. I think it's totally needed. So many women in America suffer from anxiety. Some know, some don't. Some know that they are, some don't. But what is anxiety coaching, and specifically, how do you coach your clients?
So Carrie and I have very specific set of tools that we use. Carrie and I came up through a system where we learned how to translate language. So for example, if someone you get on, usually the first 3 words that someone speaks is the code. That's the root. So she'll go, I don't feel like that. I blah, 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 blah. So the question would be, where did you learn? Where did you leave yourself in feeling? And so there's that portion of it. And so it's just it's a discovering of what the root is unconsciously through our words. And then we create decrees, which are statements based in your own experiences that actually support us reprogramming the beliefs. And then Carrie and I also incorporate body language translation, because every itch, scratch, movement, everything in your body, every dis-ease, whatever's coming up, that is the way that your body talks. And you may have the experience, somebody will ask a question and they go, and so what have you been backed out of? And we've learned Carrie and I have learned to translate every single thing. And life, it's happening all around us. And so what we do is we get to the root, we find the root quickly, we support them through decrees and reprogramming and changing the lens of their core beliefs so that they can create, as you said, redesign life as they choose on their own terms. They're authoring. And one of the things that we're aware of is what we've been feeling or believing was creating the problem is usually not it. And, but there's a feeling that's running their life, and feelings have partners. And we may have been believing in fear, and what we're here to do is to walk by faith. We may have been believing in apathy. We're here to be in passion. We may have been believing in grief. We're here to be in pleasure. And that's why we talk, we use decrees that are based in scripture, because there is a duality in consciousness and paradigm shifting, that we can be in one place and yet desire to be somewhere else. It's where we actually get the strength to do the pull-up, the result of going to the gym and having it. And then so that's how we reprogram our brains to where the go-to is the truth of ourselves.
What I love about our system is that we listen to their words. It creates formulated questions. And when they answer, they come to their own understanding. They're bringing it forward. It's not me telling you, you know what, according to this, you've got this that goes to this and then to that. And that's what I loved, is that example that I gave. I just kept asking her questions. Now what? And now what? Now what? And then, are you scared to death? And she was like, we walk them all the way through so that they find it themselves. They'll discover their own root cause.
Love it. Okay. I listened to the two of you. I'm like, when I say cutting edge, it's not like, oh, we know something that other people don't. It's not that. But in my mind, I very much think that Gio and I are on the cutting edge of relationship coaching. I mean, even just what women are experiencing in the world. We're very much like, what is going on out there? Not just, oh, we're just in our homes, in our little caves, just trying to do this work. No, it's like we're in the front of the battleground, out front, going, hey, we'll take the charge. Like, we're out here, we're willing to risk it for the biscuit, right? But so are the two of you. So what do you feel like is going on right now, just with anxiety, and or from your perspectives, the coaching world in general?
So what's going on is the question is, what's going on with anxiety in the coaching world?
Well, it's kind of two things. One, what do you see as like going on with just anxiety with your clients, or just what you see in general, right? Because that's the topic. And then obviously we're in the year 2023. Then separately from that, or it can be the same, I guess, what do you see in the coaching world, like cutting edge, new things, like, wow, this trend is not even a trend, but this scope is really beginning to develop?
So in anxiety, what we see so much of is we find so many people that are constantly worried, and a belief that that's how you do it. Like, this is what and they're addicted to it. It's like they're got to get my daily dose of worry. Got to get it in there, because this is how we do it. And this is how life is. You worry because with the belief that worrying keeps you focused. And yet we all know that's not true. But the worry keeps your eye on the ball. And that way you can control it and you can keep going. And that's what we hear a lot of. And it's the hard way. They're tired because it's hard. It's because they're using the 5% of their conscious mind to try to move the mountain, when the 95% of their subconscious mind is actually what is happening, which is what we tap into, is that unknown area, so that you can work with what you haven't known and actually create easy movement. It's hard because 5% is hard. Who uses their phone on 5% for very long? No one. No one.
No, the first thing you do is go, oh my God, I got to charge it. Where's my charger?
Exactly, which is where you want to go take a nap. Let's go take a nap and check out for a couple hours, see if it gets better when I wake up.
Yeah. What I see is the greatest movement in relationship and anxiety, whatever. It's all of us remembering our own great security. We had parents that had yet to teach us how to feel secure about what we feel, who we are, what we do. And it's where the way that we teach security is that if you fall down, you look behind you, your parent is there to tell you you're okay. And then you get on the bicycle and you pedal a few and you fall over, and your parents go, you got it. It's okay. And we've forgotten that it's okay for us to say, it's okay for us to love. It's okay to be who we are. We're too scared to be ourselves. And so there's a great remembering of security and reparenting ourselves. And I've learned to call on Divine Mother, because it requires getting bigger and bigger to remember how secure I am, and secure to stay in my body and be me. And then what's new in coaching and anxiety? I choose to know if there's anything new. What I'm aware of is that neuroscience is proving over and over again that, and the power of our words create our reality. Where we put our attention, where we put our focus is what we are coming into. And so it's a remembering, so to speak, and a learning that we are God creating our own life through the power of our words and our feelings. And is that new? No, it's a remembering.
Yeah, really and truly, none of this is new.
Mm-mm.
It's all been on our body. We always
Divine
say it's a
blueprint.
divine blueprint. We just put life's, shit on top of it. And so now we're allowing it to rise to who we're truly meant to be. So it's not new. It's that it's an awakening of what we've buried.
Yeah, and awareness. I do think, though, the whole thought process of neuroscience in general, when it first came out, I think it was like, what? But I think it's being supported more and more. You see things, you have the books. I mean, like, it's no longer, oh, come on, guys. That's just, I actually love it because, like, science has now matched up with the coaching world. And it's like, you can go through these process, like, no, just, and I love that people are more open about it. Like, it's just, so yeah, I completely agree. Nothing is new under the sun except for just the availability. I feel like people are more aware and accepting of the neuroscience behind it because it is science. And then you put in the coaching and then people are getting results and they're like, well, you can't argue with that.
Mm-mm.
What are you going to say against it? So
Yes.
it's all
good. Like the Human Genome Project, where we began to see how our DNA was affected. And so there's a deeper understanding through science of what's happening in our bodies and the power of our words because we're electric. And so which allows paradigm shifting from in quantum physics to become a viable way of using different modalities to completely shift and change what's in us. Because Carrie and I are aware that the work that we do when we begin to actually heal through our experiences, it shifts our DNA. And our DNA can be seen in changing through the lens of the eye. And that shows up in eye readings, which is something that she and I both do. And if you look at pictures of my eyes 5 years ago and where they are today, my eyes were so green because of the amount of trauma that I held. And now they're almost always blue.
I love that. Well, and this episode, as we just graciously wind it down, I love that there are so many new things that I think are going to come up. And I do see the quantum physics, the neuroscience. It's just going to be time because there are people who even listen right now are listening to all of us and they go, wait a minute, what, guys? Because they're on their own personal journey. But I think that people are open more than ever to say, that is a possibility that I'd love to explore more of. So I know as a coach, I'm really excited to meet women like you, to welcome really the universe to bring it on, show us more, help us. Like you said, if there's 5% that we're tapping into and the 95 is trying to take over, shove the 95 to the side because we got a lot to work with. So it's very exciting to have two amazing women like yourself to come on and just share more, really. And like Gio said, the niche of the scope of anxiety, and I love, thank God, it's gone from, oh, she has anxiety to oh, no, I understand. I get okay, there's more compassion. There's compassion towards other people. And I think compassion towards ourselves, that if we fall into those times of feeling that way, that hopefully people aren't shaming themselves and they aren't shaming other people, and that we give each other the space to really grow. And I know that someone listening to this podcast today is going to be like, wow, these two ladies completely understood exactly where I'm at and what I'm feeling. So thank you so much for just coming on and sharing and being a part of our podcast.
You are so
You're
welcome. Thank
welcome.
you for the invitation.
Before we close, we're going to have everything in the show notes. So if you're watching us live, you can just click on links. If you're listening to us on the replay, go to the show notes and get all your information. It is through Embody Coaches on their socials. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think you also do consults like we do. So like what,
Yes.
if someone's listening, someone's watching right now, what's the next step for them? And they're like, yes, anxiety. Yes. everything that you said resonated. What's the next step for them?
So on our website, or you can either use the link tree, and it has on there where you can schedule a consult.
Perfect.
And we offer a free consult, and your first few words will tell us all of it.
I did go through your link tree briefly.
So easy. You just say the first few words.
Are you guys going to be anywhere in the next few months in Houston? Is that something on your link tree too? Because I know our in Houston community loves to go in person and events. Is there something coming up that we need to shout out right now? Or
we have a women's retreat coming up in May, and we just started a class. So Carrie and I do one-to-ones. We do classes and retreats, and so we just started a new class this week, actually, called Unity. It's a remembering of our love within, reigniting what we agreed to in relationship. And so we've got things all the time moving. So just kind of keep a follow and check in.
They're like us. So ladies, you listening, watching, just go to their link tree. We'll have that again in the show notes, and just get on where they're at. So we're going to close out the show. We're going to take you backstage, but thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate your time. We appreciate you, again, creating the space for women going through anxiety, and just educating us a little bit more on how we can all be a voice for those women. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Welcome.
Oh my God. As they're talking, I'm like, totally goes back to our thoughts and our feelings equal actions will equal our results, because that's exactly what we teach our clients. And people don't want to get in the feelings. They don't want to get in the thoughts. They don't want to have that emotional breakthrough. But I mean, hey, we're not the only ones out there. I love it. I feel like people will be like, man, there's more GOs and events. Yes, there are. We're so thankful to
That's what you're saying. Whoa.
Yeah, whoa, it is. We're very thankful, again, that the universe brought us these women that we're recording on International Women's Day, and that we're also featuring this during National Women's History Month. So thank you to our beautiful guests. Again, if you're listening or watching and you're like, I need more, message us, DM us, book a consult with us as well. We are here to help you with any relationship that needs love in your life. Until next week, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.